began when the United States Supreme Court upheld the policy of the Vernonia, Oregon School District in 1995. In the court case, Vernonia School District versus Acton, that required all students who wished to participate in the school's athletic program to submit to periodic and random drug testing. I accessed this information on July 25, 2014 from Cornell University's Law School Legal Information Online Database. Student-athlete drug testing has since become a growing dispute since this case was brought to attention. Some say that this violates their Fourth Amendment rights. However, the court recognized the government responsibilities under a public school system as guardian and tutor of children entrusted to its care. This allowed the Fourth Amendment to be bypassed in this ruling. All student athletes should be drug tested because it is not as biased and promotes fairness among the athletes. It provides more protection to all student athletes and holds them at a higher accountability. Why should all student athletes be drug tested, and why can this not stay randomized? Because over and over again, the same student athletes are tested repeatedly, and those who are known to be taking performance-enhancing drugs and illegal substances are coincidentally looked over year after year. If all the athletes are drug tested at random times throughout their season, it promotes more fairness among the athletes. For example, if 5 of the 15 boys basketball players were to be drug tested and passed, but 3 of the 10 who weren't drug tested were known to be on drugs, it shows to the 5 that they were being discriminated against. It feels like their rights have been violated for the sake of a few. And it lets those 3 feel like they've been let off the hook and they shouldn't get punished for it, which they should. If all 15 of the boys had been tested, it would have proven that they were all equal and put on an equal playing field. And the 3 boys, the chances are that they wouldn't have been on drugs to begin with because they would have known that they were going to be tested, and it would have showed how much they cared for basketball. As stated in the article from Fox News found on July 26, 2014, published on October 21, 2011, it states, testing these kids for drugs would be making a statement about what it takes to be a team player. Do one's best, respect one's body, and really show up to compete. Participation in such sports is entirely voluntary. If you do not wish to be drug tested, then you have the option of not being involved. In my high school experience, awareness for fairness has been encouraged. If one girl ran laps, we would all run laps. Fairness is an important factor in not only athletics but education as well. Testing student athletes for performance-enhancing drugs and illegal substances not only protects the athletes themselves, but other student athletes that he or she may come in contact with. As the NCAA states on its website, accessed on July 25, 2014, under their health and safety policy, they state that they share the responsibility of promoting a drug-free athletic environment to protect the health of student athletes and preserve fair competition. In 2009, a 16-year-old boy died from drug overdose after a wrestling match at a party. The toxicology report shows that he had high levels of marijuana, alcohol, hydrocodone, and Xanax in his system. The police state that this was not his first time coming in contact with such drugs. They also state that who knows if he was on these types of drugs at his match before. Just think about how many people he came in contact with. Fellow students, student athletes, the teammates, opponents, the community members. Think about all the people he's endangered. Student athletes are drug tested to keep from putting themselves, other students, and other student athletes, and community members in compromising and fatal situations. Student athletes are an important puzzle piece to a school's community. They are looked upon by fellow classmates. If they're an upperclassman, most of the upperclassmen will look up to them and put them on a pedestal of high esteem. Whenever an athlete acts in a particular manner and others find it cool or awesome, chances are that other athletes or other students will act in the same way to gain their respect or the coolness factor. According to an article found in Forbes magazine, found on July 27, 2014, from January of 2013, it states, "It is inescapable. Athletes will be figures of admiration and emulation in the sports-obsessed society." They're not only a representation of their school, but also their community. Athletes are the students who are put out there for other schools to view in their participation in their sports. These students are those who are used to judge the school and the community. The student-athlete's actions, mannerisms, and sportsmanship is remembered by the community. This is why all athletes are required to uphold the student code of conduct not only in school but out of school as well. In addition, they are required to uphold and maintain a certain grade point average. Because first they have to be a student. Being an athlete is a privilege. Even though you may have a certain talent, doesn't mean that you're just allowed to play sports. You have to uphold those standards. As the NCAA puts it, student athletes must therefore be students first. If all of the students are required to uphold these obligations to their school, then why should just a few be drug tested? This seems to suggest that only some of them are held accountable for their actions. No. All of the athletes should be held accountable for their behavior. Student athletes are held at a high accountability level. Therefore, all student athletes should be drug tested at random times throughout the duration of their sports season, without question. In closing, testing all student athletes would provide a good and safe response all around. If all student athletes were drug tested, it would create an unbiased and fair athletic experience. In addition, it would also provide protection to not only the athletes, but also other students, student athletes, and community members. Finally, if all student athletes are held at such high accountability levels, they have to uphold their student code of conduct in and out of school and maintain a certain GPA throughout the school year, then there is without question no reason why they shouldn't be drug tested at random times throughout their time as an athlete in their season. A student athlete should be a well-rounded citizen. Ray Lewis once stated, "Life is about being a versatile athlete and training in all realms of life."